All right, what's up, guys? So, what an insane dump we just had on Bitcoin. And honestly, like, this is a blessing. This is not a dip of death. I do really think that this is the dip, the opportunity of a lifetime. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin and see what we got here. I think this is some extremely exciting time. I think, despite the fact that a lot of people are losing money now, most likely, it's extremely thrilling to see this type of stuff going on Bitcoin. And it kind of reminds me of the COVID-19 crash. And you guys know what happened right after the COVID-19 crash. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to quickly share some stuff here in the Discord. And we are going to take a look at Bitcoin just shortly. All right, so we got the YouTube link and we're on Twitter as well. So I'm going to share that one as well. Right. So stay tuned. I'm starting any moment. All right, guys, let's do this. So goddamn, look at this. This is insane. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know and I will try to answer them as well as I can. So if you're watching on YouTube, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. This is insane. Like, what the fuck's going on? I mean, yeah. So I want to show you something really interesting here. Really, really interesting. The COVID crash. The COVID crash, right? So this is really reminds me of the COVID crash, where we just all of a sudden from nowhere had an insane dump, right? What's the percentage of that candle or that dump right there? Well, 52% in a day, right? So remember the COVID crash of last year. Was it last year? Yeah, last year had a 50% decline in a day. What happened right after that was an insanely strong buy pressure coming in and just creating a pretty strong V reversal bottom, right? So we had that massive capitulation. I remember this morning I woke up and I looked at the chart and I'm like, I remember tweeting, I love the smell of capitulation in the morning. I had to retweet that and say, I love the smell of capitulation in the afternoon, because what happened was we came down and we just tapped that 30K level, and almost immediately when we hit that level, the buying pressure started to come in, right? So I've loaded up on this dip quite heavily, right? So if you guys remember, I've been doing webinars and live stream in the Birb Nest almost on a daily basis for many months, right? And we have been watching the behavior of this trend for a very long time. And when we broke the daily 50 EMA and created a lower low, I told you guys that you got to be very careful now, because this might be the beginning of a larger down move. Obviously, nobody could have predicted this, right? Nobody could have predicted this, and this was obviously not the move I was talking about. But we were looking at, this high, lower low, and obviously this lower high. It's an obvious, break in market structure and break in behavior of the trend. So, we started selling Bitcoin up around the 55K area, and now we are starting to buy Bitcoin once again, right? Do not get left behind on this, what I believe is the opportunity of a lifetime. So what I've done right here is I've started to averaging quite heavily, and I want to show you something very interesting here on the weekly. Let's look at Bitcoin USD on Bitstamp, and I'm going to add some fib levels right here. And what you're seeing right here is a pretty decent touch of the The weekly 50 EMA, obviously the wick is way lower, but I like the confluence here with the 50% level of this move. Let's add the 50 EMA and weekly. I really like that touch right there. And not only did we touch that level quite nicely on the weekly, looking at this range right here, we came down and we touched that lower support. I view this range as like this whole range right here is a very important area, right? And what happened is we cleared that whole zone and we came down and we touched the support right below here, right? Right in this area, we have a major support area. We came down and we tapped that beautifully, just beautifully, right? So yeah, the next thing to really add some very um, add some confirmation to this actually being the potential bottom, we need now to reclaim. And also note how nicely the 3A2 area of this fib lines up with these highs right here. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful. So what I'm looking at right here, we have a few levels of interest right here, but the one interesting area that I'm watching right now is I would love to see this general area right here being reclaimed as support. Now, if we can reclaim this as support, I definitely think we're going higher, right? I definitely think we're going higher. However, if we get a bearish reaction here, I mean, we're most likely going to get some type of strong bearish reaction to that level the first time we're testing it. But as soon as we reclaim that level, I think a lot of buying pressure will come in. I think a lot of investors will regain the confidence here. This is obviously a, capitulation move on Bitcoin. But obviously, it's impossible to know before the fact. If this is actually if you see a lot of volume and a lot of buying pressure coming in at these levels, well, then after the fact we can say that this was the capitulation move. But like it really reminds me of the COVID-19 crash. So definitely, thinking that we are going to see some type of recovery here on Bitcoin. So I've loaded up quite a few heavy bags on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and BNB and Link. So let's take a look at Litecoin and Ethereum, BNB, and Link. And I'm going to show you what I'm thinking and what my plans are for those positions. Right. First, Bitcoin, short term. Short term, we need to reclaim the 42K area to really, for me to really feel just perfect about this position, right? So if we can reclaim the 42K area, I really, well, yeah, of course, we're hoping it's going to bounce. We're not trying to convince ourselves that it's going to, going back up. We're, definitely taking a risk here. You know what I mean? We're definitely taking a risk. But when you have, the decline for the highs here, I mean, this dump is a, god damn it, guys, it's a over 50% move right into the weekly 50 EMA, and it's the 50% fib level of this whole bull market. Why would you not want to be a buyer here? Why would you not want to be a risk taker at these levels? Are you not traders? You know what I mean? Like, you should at least take some risk. I'm not saying that you're going to go all in, but dips like these, if it's the bottom, are going to make you a lot of money. You can, of course, lose money, but the risk to reward at these levels, if this bull market is going to continue, is absolutely beautiful. So it makes perfect sense to look at the current area where Bitcoin is trading inside as a good level of interest for buyers. Monthly chart, like, guys, why would we want to look at the monthly chart? What is this telling you? Why are you interested in the monthly chart? This is not really going to tell you, much, right? the monthly on this on this chart is just too high of a time frame. It's just can't really do a proper analysis on the monthly time frame. Even the weekly is hard to analyze properly. We have to use I mean, I like using the moving averages like the EMAs on the weekly and maybe even the monthly, but the daily is where we have the clear structures and the clear levels, and I'm not going higher than the daily. For me as a trader, it makes no sense to watch a chart that's just a couple of candles up and one big fat down candle. There's no clear levels, right? All right. So yeah, I'm quite happy that we got this move now and not lower. I'm quite happy that we're able to fill up on Bitcoin at these levels. We're right now trading inside the long RLC of this most local move, and the 618 is confluent with that 42k area. So if we can reclaim the 42k area or this 618, that would be absolutely beautiful. And even if even with that big wick right there, if we start to see some type of rounded bottom motion here inside the long RLC, honestly, I would just ignore that wick. I mean, sure, it sounds weird, but as long as the bottom formation actually happens inside the long RLC, I would like to, I think that would be just beautiful. But this is a very interesting area that we're trading inside right now. If you look at the 1 hour, we can definitely, we would definitely, I mean, that's definitely possible that we come down and test this area right here and that would be a beautiful W formation forming, right? So we create on the hourly, something like that. That would be perfect, right? So we have a double bottom and a W inside the long RLC, with that big wick right there. And the break and retest of the 618 confluent with the 42k area would be just an amazing opportunity to go long. And you could use the low of the long RLC as your invalidation level, right? So let's see if we have any questions. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? No, I cannot talk about the pi cycle because that's nothing, that's nothing that I've used in my analysis. So for me, it makes no sense to be talking about that. And support at 13k, sure, we have support at 13k. We have support at 10k as well, and we also have some pretty decent support at 6k. It doesn't really matter. We're looking at the current prices, right? We're looking at current prices, and we're like 13k. It's quite far down. We have some more levels to clear before we hit 13k. Let's see. Head and shoulders on Bitcoin and Ethereum is playing exactly out to the targets. Yeah. So it's did you sell that head and shoulders? I mean, without actually playing that head and shoulders, it doesn't really matter if it played out. But let me tell you something. A lot of people. A lot of people, they'd like to try to find patterns on the chart, and they try to find patterns that fit their biases. And it doesn't matter if it's a head and shoulders or a whatever the name you want to call the patterns. It's, for me, simply a break in market structure, right? It's just a break in market structure, and we had a very clear break in market structure right here. That's the break in market structure right there. And you can call that whatever you want, a Quasimodo pattern or a head and shoulders. I'd like to call that, a Quasimodo patterns if we are going to be kind of correct. I think that because that's that's a lower low. You know what I mean? Like double tops and a lower low to the right is, I think, I'm not completely perfectly sure about this, but I think that would be more like a Quasimodo pattern and not a head and shoulders. All right. Do you think we will see a retest of the 29 to 30k area? 29 to 30. Well, I mean, it's obviously possible. Anything's possible. I don't think we're like, if we if we head even lower, like if we head much lower at this point, it's obviously going to be a bit scary. You know what I mean? Like if we don't form a nice bottom around current area, so if we dump further down below, really below 30k, I think, watching the higher time frames right here, the area of the obviously interesting area is obviously the high time frame long RLC, with the midpoint of the RLC around 22k. All right, so that's the level of interest. By the way, guys, don't forget about the discounts that we're running right now in the Birb Nest. So we are actually right now running a quite big discount before the prices are increasing in the next days. So you can gain up to 40% discount if you use the code NEST200. Just go to thebirdnest.com/subscriptions and you can check that out. So don't miss out. We're actually increasing prices, right? So if you want to get in and try out the community before we increase prices, use that NEST200 code. Let's see what we got right here. What is the level for? All right, so this kind of sucks. I like this. Goddamn, this sucks. Well, you know what? Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, if you borrowed money to leverage trade, you should not do that. You should just not do that. What I can help you with, I really do want to help you guys. Like, I want every single one of you to succeed. I want to help every single one of you to, live the life that you want to live and deserve, and have the freedom that comes with successfully trading. I really want to do that, but I can't. The best way for me to help you is to show you the ways of technical analysis, the way I do it, and give you the tools necessary to trade successfully on your own. That's really what I want to do, right? Providing you guys with calls, that's one thing, but providing you guys with the knowledge to be able to trade for yourself, that's golden, right? So, in the Birbness, we have a full team of professional traders available to help you like 24/7. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal. And what I would like really suggest you do is if you don't have a trading system that's successful, trading spot, you should probably not even think about touching leverage, and only risk what you can afford to lose. Do not take out stupid loans to try to make money without having a profitable system. If you have a profitable trading system, it makes sense taking out loans to invest in yourself and your own fund if you think that the percentage return will, cover the interest of that loan. That makes total sense, because that's free money. But if you borrow money to trade when you're not even profitable with leverage, you're gonna get fucked. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. All right. So is this the right time to be a buyer, given that 28k was the local low and market bounced 40%? Yeah, holy shit, guys. I mean, Bitcoin has already bounced. I mean, we're up already like 27% from the lows. And if you look at the lower time frames, let's look at the lower time frames. What are the lower time frames saying? The top of this move was actually 35%. That's pretty crazy. Anyway, so what I'm thinking right here, if we do actually take out these lows right here, which is highly possible, it's still very possible, but I do think that this is a perfect opportunity to buy the dip. And I'm not saying go all in, because if you take out this area, we'll still have a potential 40% drop to the downside into the long high time frame long RLC. So that's still something to think about. But if you buy these current prices, you need to have a plan plan of action for the bullish scenario and the bearish scenario. And my bearish scenario is losing this area right here. That's going to be the bearish scenario. So from current prices, we're talking about a potential 20% decline in price. That's the bearish scenario. If we do, if we can't hold the 32 or 30K area as support, we're going to get wrecked, right? Short term, medium term, but I still have some beautiful levels below, right? And the bullish case is reclaim 42K. That's it, reclaim 42K, and we are good to go to at least, I'd say at least 50 to 52K, and we reclaim the 50 to 52K area. And I think it's quite likely that we are going to see a new all-time high, or at least test the previous highs in the next coming weeks to month. And if this actually is the bottom, well, like the targets when we're talking about 100K would still be on the table. Honestly, I think this is just a anomaly, right? It's the anomaly in the trend. Something weird happened right here. You know what I mean? Like, but we're gonna most likely resume that high time frame bull trend if this is the local low. Yeah, only do like if you're not like if you are a very successful scalper, this could be a very nice opportunity to trade this leverage. I mean, if you look at the 15-minute, look at this. I mean, the 1 15-minute candle right here is 8%, 8% in 15 minutes. If you were able to catch this trade on, I mean, this bottom on like the, let's say the 1 minute, right? And yeah, if you were able to, get in on the 1 minute, let's say on that low, maybe that low right there, or that dip, or maybe that one, that's a pretty good one. We're we're talking about a pretty nice 5 hour trade in how long? I mean, it would take you 3 hours, right? So I mean, being a scalper right here, and when you get these volatilities right here, that might be very interesting because you can still see on the 1 minute that price is quite nicely respecting the horizontal levels right here. You're right now coming down, testing a pretty decent SR level right here on the 1 minute. We're most likely going to bounce here on the 1 minute, right? So there's a long opportunity here on the 1 minute if you know how to scalp this, right? So there's always going to be some pretty decent long opportunities on the lower time frames in a volatility market like this. When you have these moves right here, this is a scalper's dream, right? Let's see if this is also the RLC right here. Well, yeah, pretty much. You're testing the 618 right here. So this we should see a bounce here, right? I guess, or at least somewhere inside this long RLC right here. And as a scalp trade, I would probably try to get in at current prices or around the 618 for a move up towards these highs right here, most likely. So this could be a stupid profitable trade as well. But I'm not interested in scalping this right now because I just don't have the time. But if you know how to scalp, if you know how to manage your risk scalping, try it out. Because when you get volatilities like this, catching a bottom here and letting it run could be stupidly profitable if you know how to manage that trade profitably or properly. All right. So honestly, like I don't have much time to do this this live stream today, but I felt like I just need to get this out, right? I need to try to help you guys and give you guys some plans on what to do, right? So all right, Steven thinks it's the beginning of a 80% move from 6 to 1K. Right, so we can always, without a proper analysis of that, I'm not like 80% drop, 80% drop. Well, you're always going to have people coming out and having ridiculous targets like this one. You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, you're always gonna have some people coming out and saying like, yeah, Bitcoin is gonna go to 13K when you have dips like this, and hopefully they're wrong. But it's really hard for me to imagine Bitcoin going to 13K without even. I mean, we have so many levels before. I mean, we have the high time frame long see around the, this area right here. I would not want to have any levels of targets to the downside, below the long see without even looking for some type of reaction here, or at least, before the long see. All right, so let's take a look at. Let's quickly take a look at Litecoin, Ethereum, Link, and BNB. Um, so on the weekly right here on Litecoin, on the weekly right here, we are hitting the 50 EMA on the weekly right here. So let's see if we can add a fib to this. I would probably want to use that low and this high. So yeah, you see guys, it's the confluence here is just amazing. Just amazing, right? Look at that. The test of the 0702, the midpoint of the long RLC is perfectly hits that the weekly 50 EMA and bounces. It doesn't really get any better than this. On Litecoin, I do think it's likely that we are at least going to see a retest of this blue line right here, which is the 618. So that's definitely likely. But if we lose the long RLC, yeah, that's obviously not going to be very good for Litecoin. But let's take a look at Ethereum. So are we seeing anything similar on Ethereum? Let's see, we got the weekly. I mean, Ethereum is just weird. It's just crazy. But I like the fact that Ethereum came down and touched that level right there, which is in my opinion, the strongest support area on this chart. So it just came down, touched that level with a insanely big bounce. That weekly. And that's the 20 EMA and the weekly right there. So pretty nice confluence in that area. So that's just beautiful confluence right here. Ethereum hits that beautiful level right there, confluent with the 20 EMA and the weekly. Litecoin comes right into long RLC, the major high time frame long RLC, and hits the weekly 50 EMA. Bitcoin comes down and hits the weekly 50 EMA, confluent with the 50% level of the major, that major fib of this whole move, like that's half of the move. And BNB USDT comes down and yeah, look at that, touches the 618 of the long RLC just beautifully. And yeah, it's and on the daily it clears that whole high time frame support area. Yeah, it's I really do like these levels right here. The way it's touching major levels and getting bought up like this, I actually think this is incredibly bullish, honestly. Litecoin, yeah, we already looked at Litecoin. Link USDT, let's see if we can find anything interesting on Link right here. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Surprise, surprise. Price comes down and hits the 618 of the long RLC, confluent with the 50 EM and the weekly. You can't make this up, right? This is not, I mean, the level, I look at this wick. There's no bigger wick on the Link chart to date. This is the biggest bearish candle and the biggest wick ever printed on the Link chart. Make no mistakes about this. This is not normal. This is not something you see every day. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, in my opportunity. If you had bits down here, congratulations, you're making a lot of fucking money right now. This is not the time to be sleeping. This is not the time to be selling. This is the time to be looking for some really bullish, bullish, bullish buys, right? I am almost certain that the crypto markets are gonna bounce back from this like insane. All right, guys, that's it for me. Just a quick 30 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep you guys updated as much as possible, but honestly, like the everything you want to see is in the Burbness, right? So that's where I try to keep you guys as updated as possible. As soon as I saw this tip right here, the first thing I did was I went into the Nest Club chat and said, I'm going to be buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, Litecoin, and BNB, right? And I posted some, I started posting like I'm buying here, I'm buying here, I'm buying here, and basically just went all in on these coins with everything I had on Binance. I had to transfer over more fiat and buy even more because, it's not every day you get to buy something that just instantly pumps 50 goddamn percent, right? All right, guys. I love you all. Thanks for joining. I will most likely be doing this more in the coming days. And don't forget about the Nest 200 discount code where you can get up to 40% discount on our subscriptions in the Nest Club before we increase prices, guys. We are going to increase prices. So buy the dip on Bitcoin and buy the dip on the Birb Nest. All right, guys. Take care and see you guys in the next one.